Hello Assassins! I was given the opportunity to play Assassin's Creed Shadows early, so huge thanks to Ubisoft for providing me the access to the game, so I can play it and show it to you guys early. Thus far I have been able to play a little bit over 60 hours of the game, completing the main missions, some side activities and other stuff via exploration in the game, but I still have a lot of things to do in the game and I haven't been bored even once. So, you may be wondering what I think about this game. Well, I'm going to give my honest opinions with pros and cons from my point of view. So, let's go!
Welcome to the rice fields, motherfucker!
With the time I was able to play before this video, I was playing the first version of the game, so 1.0, and after that I got an update for PlayStation 5 for the second version of the game, and the update, by the way, it was under 2 gigabytes. But on the first version of the game I didn't have any issues at all, but after the first patch my game did freeze 2 times and it crashed once. So first version, first 50 hours, no problems, and after that with the second version 3 problems within 10 hours or so. Thankfully those were minor bugs. I didn't lose my save files. After closing and reopening the game, everything was fine. I'm not saying there is no issues at all with this game, and of course it depends which version of the game you are playing, which platform you are playing on, PlayStation, Xbox or PC. Nevertheless, I can confidently say that this game is in good shape on launch, and don't worry, this review will be mostly spoiler free and I will warn when there are any spoilers, and everything will be timestamped if you want to skip around, and I will only talk and show the parts that I see necessary for the context for this video. AC Shadows is set in feudal Japan, and the game starts with Yasuke's journey when he was already serving Oda Nobunaga. We will be completing the prologue for Yasuke. After that the game transitions, see the game from Naoe's perspective before she was the shinobi that she will become later on in the game. After her prologue is over, we can start free roaming the world, but at start we don't have Yasuke to switch to, so we can only play as Naoe until certain main story missions has been completed. And if you stick to the main missions and don't get distracted by the tons of side missions, side content in the game, you actually should be unlocking Yasuke pretty quickly. It may take few hours, it may take 10, depends how you play the game. While we are on the topic of the main story, Assassin's Creed Shadows will have quite huge objective board, and even after 60 hours I keep unlocking new boards for it. But on the center we will have Tesin Bak Ufu, and sorry if I'm butchering these names. If you didn't know it, I'm not Japanese, so my pronunciation will be what it is. But on that thing we will have the main targets of the game, which are heavily linked to the Naoe. So how do you know where to go or where to look for the clues and the targets to complete everything? For this we have 2 options that we can toggle from the settings. We can either have more traditional, aka guided experience, or you can choose to go full on exploration mode. With that you will need to investigate areas more thoroughly with yourself and using the scouts, but if you go with the guided mode you can skip the investigations and scouting altogether and you will see where to go on the map. So definitely, like in the previous titles, totally up to you which one you are using. Even if you are going with the guided mode, you can still do the investigation stuff if you choose to do so. Also from the settings we can change the difficulty for the combat and stealth individually, so they are not linked together, not completely. Also in there we can turn on instant assassinations, which actually makes the game perhaps a little bit too easy. Even the targets, well, most of them at least, can be assassinated. without any paddles. Doing so, you probably will miss out on some of the dialogue, but like I said, it is up to you how you want to play the game. Keep in mind, if you choose to turn on the instant assassinations, definitely don't go lower than normal with the stealth difficulty, because the game will be too easy in my opinion. If you choose the hardest difficulty for the stealth, the enemies will become smarter and can spot you more easily from the rooftops, for example, but with the combat hardest difficulty, there will be clear difference between normal and hard. Basically the hard difficulty only increases pure damage intake, but if you are going lower than normal, well, the combat will be super easy even with Naoe. With normal and hard combat difficulty, the enemies are kinda spongy in my opinion. By spongy, I mean depending on the enemy type and the character and weapons / builds of your choosing, while Naoe will have to make multiple stabby stabs to break the armor, let alone speaking of the killing the enemies. It definitely feels spongy with quote-unquote normal way of playing without masterfully crafted builds and skill trees. Speaking of those, we have skill trees for both characters, base elements, and for each weapon will have their own unique dedicated skill trees. The beautiful thing with those is the fact that you can reset one skill tree if you like and use the points for another, so you are not completely resetting everything, just one skill tree, and you are getting the points back to use, for example, different weapon if you choose to change the weapon type you want to try, so you don't have to grind everything from the ground up for every weapon each time. Also, with the skill trees, the abilities that you can use are locked behind the skill trees, so you don't have to go and hunt like in AC Valhalla those abilities from the world or do any side activities. Just level up your character, and yeah, it doesn't matter if you are playing the game as Naoe or Yasuke. When you level up, the other character will receive the same points as well, which was actually one of my worries before starting the game, if we have to grind both characters, grind every single weapon individually. From the skill trees, you are also getting the abilities to use, and thus far my favorite ability has to be Yasuke's Yeet Kick. That thing is deadly AF. This Spartan kick on steroids, while not the most damage dealing ability, used right can be as deadly as any other ability out there. With quite short cooldown period, it can be used to kick enemies really far away against walls and over the cliffs, dealing deadly amounts of fall damage, killing most enemies instantly if the drop is high enough. While this may seem like a little bit of glazing of Yasuke, he also has huge downsides as well, like parkour being a perfect example of that, because that is the weakest point with Yasuke. Yasuke can climb and jump over basic objects. Even remotely higher climb will be undoable with him, whether that being reaching places in the open world or trying to get to the viewpoints. He will fail miserably. With this aspect, while Naoe can reach pretty much anywhere, even if you just ran through the enemy castles just for the auto synchronization point or just to take a shortcut, she might be much weaker in combat, but she will definitely make it up with her agility and speed alongside with her trusted grappling hook, making the climbs on top of the castles, towers a breeze. Also, with instant assassinations activated, she can easily clear the whole territories on her own, but the design of these places are not always the best, and you will need both characters. For example, for the viewpoints you will need Naoe, and some collectibles you will need Yasuke to move heavy objects, basically shelves that we have seen in Mirage, in Valhalla, Odyssey and Origins. Naoe cannot do that basic stuff at all. While this may be a bit of downside, the good thing is that every major enemy territory has a viewpoint where you can fast travel, or those little small hideouts throughout the map, which you definitely want to unlock. And you can choose if you want to swap characters when doing the fast traveling, making this whole thing a neutral thing in my opinion. Or what you think, let me know in the comments down below. Is this design good, bad or neutral? While we are still on the topic of the exploration and the world, as you may be expecting from the previous AC titles, the world has been created really beautifully and with the ambience making the world worth exploring, and it really made me just wanna run around, especially with the different seasons, which you can change every 40 minutes or by completing quests. After cutscenes, the season will change automatically, making the game look different and more immersive, impacting the ways you can play. Also, any scouts tagged for the hideout materials from enemy storages will bring you back those valuable resources to upgrade your hideout that you can fully customize to your liking, but there's a catch with the hideout as well. Before we can start upgrading and making it our own, we need those previously mentioned resources, but we also need to complete quests to get inhabitants for the base with some of the key buildings. For decoration, we need loot chests that randomly may drop those items. We also can visit vendors throughout the map and collect some cool statues, trees, whatever from them. And while running throughout the cities, pet the animals, since every new type and color pet you pet will be added to your hideout inventory. So pretty much for petting the animals, it will be same with the Sumi-e, aka the painted animals that will become placeable animals for your hideout. There's also few other interesting things while exploring, like the easy way to get mon, in-game currency for the merchants, and unlocking those mini hideouts. You may encounter wandering ronins throughout the map. By killing those ronins, they will drop quite sizable amount of mon alongside with some gear or other valuables that you can sell for a little bit extra mon. Speaking of the valuables, there's so-called keys that you can find and collect from the map, and the keys they are used for the helix items in this game's version of Reda, but instead of traveling back to the hideout, you can access the Animus, pun intended, and shout out to the access the Animus of course, when and wherever you want to, all in one, and from the Animus you can find everything you need. The season pass routes, seems like there are 3 in total of those per season, but choose wisely, review the rewards beforehand and select the route, and note if you do quit the one you have selected, your progression will be lost. So my advice for that one is to complete one before starting another. Also from this screen you can see your weekly quests, weekly items, daily items. On the daily items I have been watching those, and mostly they have been decorations and ally outfits, while the weekly rewards have been focusing on the gear for Yasuke and Naoe. So definitely hit the like and subscribe buttons to keep yourselves updated, since my plan is to livestream weekly resets with this game, just like I did with AC Valhalla, where I did so the weeklies and did do weekly quests. Unfortunately, at least not yet, there are no daily quests to do, only weeklies, and it seems that Thursday is our reset day, and if we are getting Ubisoft Connect challenges, those will be reset most likely on Thursday as well, but few hours later than the Animus reset. But back to the gameplay and exploration. You probably thought I don't have anything bad to say about the world. Well, I do. For example, the world feels quite empty at times, and it is very restrictive, especially when mounted and you want to go off-road. Bamboo and other tinier trees will stop your horse of going through, and you either have to get back on the road or dismount completely if you want to explore the wilderness. With the mount, the lack of the follow the road option can get tiring, and without an eagle or bird view, it is really painful to see where would be good open spots to take shortcut or explore the forest areas even further. Also, you may be wondering about the people in the game. Well, the voice acting, I guess it depends on us individually. If we find out the voice acting to be good or bad, and of course the language options will play a huge part for that. But for me, I would say it is pretty okay. Although some of the facial animations look lifeless, but sometimes they seem quite proper for the conversation we are having with the NPCs. But the stories, interactions being told are quite entertaining and captivating in their own way, just like in the previous RPG titles of the series. As I said prior, the game starts with the prologues and are set in quite heavy tone, but in the game there will be some familiar, neutral, serious, heartwarming and light-hearted moments as well, alongside with romance options, which by the way can be only done with one character. So if you are playing the wrong character, you will miss out on the romance option. From my gameplay experience, it seems like the allies are also our romance options with either Yasuke or Naoe. Like I said, I have played about 60 hours and I have completed the main story, but I haven't unlocked everything in the game, including 50% of the allies. And by the way, the allies, depending on your choices, they can be recruited, but also if you are choosing the wrong options, they will not become your allies. So for this game, the choices do matter in some extent. I remember somebody saying, I think it was either Andy Reloads or Joe Raptor, who said there is only one ending, no matter of the choices for the game. I can't confirm that or deny that, so take it with a grain of salt. The story has been told pretty freely and it is fully fictional, even though we are meeting real life characters like Hattori Hanzo, Mitsuhide and many others without spoiling too much. And thus far, without spoiling too much, the story has been wonderful in my humble opinion. So, is this the best entry in the series? Perhaps not, but before finishing everything that game has to offer, I actually think this actually might be the best from the RPG entries in the series. So, I don't know what it is, story, dual protagonist system, or the world, or everything combined, but yeah. Definitely this feels much better than Valhalla, at least to me. And if I have to score this at this point without finishing everything, I would give this firm 8.5 out of 10 overall score. It actually might go 0.5 down depending on the rest of the content, or it may even go up, which is highly unlikely at this point, so 8.5 it is for now. Like I said, it has its shortcomings, but overall after 60ish hours I haven't had enough of this game and I'm hungry for more, and I can't wait to share everything with you guys with videos, shorts, posts and live streams in the future. So let me know in the comments down below, is this game something you could see yourself playing, or is this gonna be total flop in your opinion? And if so, why? The best advice I can give to you guys will be is that you should take everything with a grain of salt, that being people like me who enjoy the game or people who are absolutely hating the game. Judge the game for yourself. If you want to play it, go ahead, play it. If you don't, well, that's fine as well and it is your choice to make. But if you are planning to get it and you are getting it from Ubisoft Store, use my creator code SKATHA aka Skatha at the checkout to get 1 cent off and support the channel that way. For full transparency, part of the sale will come to me, so that is away from Ubisoft. So if you want to play and not give Ubisoft 100% of the revenue, well, that is the way. Also, if you want to support the channel even further, consider becoming a member. I can offer you custom emojis that you can use in the comments or in the live chat, in the live streams, member only posts, early access to some of my videos, and my 100% dedication to you guys. Thank you for watching, that's all for now. See you in the next one.
Move unseen, shaping history.
Against corruption and brutality.